50. Just 50. I want you to hold that number in your head for a second. And no, that is not a typo. For a recent public housing project called Tampines Nova, 50 single applicants were competing for every single two-room flat available. That's an absolutely staggering number, and it really makes you wonder, in a city that's always building, what made this one specific project the hottest ticket in town? Well, the answer reveals a fascinating system of trade-offs. Okay, first things first. To really get why the Tampines Nova situation was so wild, we have to put it into perspective. I mean, just how unusual was this surge in demand? Now take a look at this. What's really interesting here is the sheer contrast. During that exact same sales launch, another project in a really prime location, Red Hill Peaks, saw an application rate of just 2.5. Other projects were even lower, so this wasn't some kind of citywide housing frenzy. Nope, it was like a laser beam of demand aimed at one single spot. The real question is, why? This isn't just about a popular neighborhood, not by a long shot. The answer is actually buried deep within Singapore's unique public housing system, with all its rules and its trade-offs. And to get it, we need to understand the machine itself. To find our answer, we have to pop the hood on Singapore's housing engine. You see, the vast majority of citizens live in public housing, and the main way to get a new home is through something called the BTO system. The concept is actually pretty simple. Build to order. Flats are sold off plan, right? And construction only kicks off once the government sees there's enough demand. Originally, that was 70% of units booked, though now it's down to about 50%. This whole system was designed to stop a surplus of unsold flats, which, believe it or not, used to be a problem with the older model. And this timeline really shows you how the whole thing has evolved. Before 2001, you just kind of get in a queue without knowing the exact location or even when you'd get your keys. BTO was brought in to match supply with demand much better. But as you can see, the system keeps changing, with a huge new category of flats just introduced in 2024. And that change is the key to our whole mystery. And this is where it all starts to click into place. Because with that big 2024 change, a super important new detail was introduced. The BTO system now has different tiers, and understanding them is the only way to solve our puzzle. So let's circle back to our central question, but now with this new piece of information. Why did so many people rush to Tampines Nova, a plus project, and not Red Hill Peaks, a prime project, or any of the regular standard ones? This table breaks it all down for us. You've got your standard flats, think of them as your baseline, with a 5-year minimum occupation period, or MOP, before you can sell. Then you have prime flats. These are in the absolute best locations with the highest subsidies. But, and this is a big but, they come with a 10-year MOP and really strict resale conditions. That includes something called a subsidy clawback, which basically means you have to pay back some of the government discounts if you sell. And then there's this new middle ground, plus flats, like our Tampines Nova. They also have a 10-year MOP and a subsidy clawback, but the rules are just a little bit different. So here's the crucial trade-off. The government wants to provide affordable homes in great spots, but they don't want people just flipping them for a huge profit. This created a whole new calculation for buyers, and it seems that for Tampines Nova, thousands of applicants decided, yeah, okay, a 10-year MOP, we can live with that. But the even stricter resale rules of the prime project in Red Hill, that was a step too far. Tampines Nova hit that perfect sweet spot. You know, all these rules and tiers bring us to how the application process actually feels for a lot of people. It can feel less like you're buying a home and a lot more like you're just playing the lottery. And this quote from a housing analyst just perfectly captures that feeling. When the odds are long and your success depends on a random ballot, it's easy to feel like you're just buying a lottery ticket, where the prize, if you win, has a 4-year delivery time. And the numbers really back this feeling up. Between 2019 and 2021, a first-timer family had about a 1 in 4 chance of success. But for second-timers, those who've owned a flat before, the odds were a much, much tougher 1 in 18. And that is why a project with a perceived sweet spot like Tampines Nova can trigger such an avalanche of applications. So, knowing all of this, how can you navigate the system? I mean, you can't control the ballot, that's for sure. But what you can control is your strategy. The Housing Board itself gives some pretty direct advice. First, watch the application rates live on their website. If a project is getting flooded with applicants like Tampines Nova was, you know your odds are dropping by the hour. Second, be flexible. Think about projects in less popular areas where your chances might be much higher. And finally, really understand what you're signing up for. Is a plus or a prime location actually worth being locked in for 10 years? So what's the bottom line here? Well, demand isn't random. It's a direct response to the very specific trade-offs of each project. The BTO system is now a tiered marketplace. It's location versus restriction. Understanding those tiers and applying strategically is the most powerful tool you have to manage your expectations and hopefully improve your chances of getting a home. You know, Singapore's BTO system has never stood still. It's always evolving. But with demand now so laser-focused that one single project can create a national conversation, it begs the question, is this new tiered system the permanent solution, or is it just the next chapter in the endless challenge of housing a nation?